ready to get started on the next chapter of the N64 quest, and we're pulling right ahead towards the end of the 1997 and hitting a big jumble of games right here. I'm starting the first game in this batch, WCW versus nWo World Tour. Just looking to get it started right here real quick so that I can keep playing it, because you can play these games for hours and hours and hours. And even WCW and nWo, this first game, even though there's not a whole lot of story stuff going on with it, there's a whole lot of leagues to play and tournaments to go through and challenges to do. And so that's sort of the idea. I just want to get started. As we go on with this was the first wrestling game, of course, on the N64, and now we're going to find out a whole lot of my opinions and other bullshit about wrestling, and this may or may not go well. First unpopular opinion, I fucking hate Hulk Hogan. I hate him. He's a piece of shit. I grew up past the Hogan era, and all I pretty much know about him is I don't think he can wrestle, and he's just an asshole. So we'll get that one out of the way. I don't like Hulk Hogan. You saw me holding up the Prima strategy guide. And I always want to point out this one thing about this Prima strategy guide. It's not a huge deal, but it's fucking hilarious. Because if you don't know about the AccuWrestling games, they localized them here in America based on who had the license or who licensed them out. And with this first one, along with WCW vs. the World on the PS1, it was Virtual Pro Wrestling 64. And about half the roster, which we'll go through real quick, is Japanese wrestlers that were left in the game, but had their names and stuff changed so that they didn't have to, actually pay to have their likenesses in there. They just have the little portrait in their movesets and the character's appearance. But with this Prima guide, they wrote up profiles for every wrestler, including the Japanese ones that are left in there from the DOA, which I think is FMW, and IU promotions, which I don't know what there's. Might be DOA is All Japan and IU is FMW, but whatever it is. And to give you an idea of how kind of ridiculous this shit is, I just always want to read this one particular profile that they wrote up, because they went pretty hard on the kayfabe ridiculous shit for these guys. And this is for the Claw, so let's go over to the Claw. This guy right here, and I don't know that much about Japanese stuff, so I don't actually know who that is. I know he's a real person. But his profile in the Prima guide: some people whisper that the Claw, who rose to infamy by destroying every challenger in the illegal death matches of the Georgian Republic, is actually hundreds of years old. Although this seemingly ageless fighter currently lives in an undisclosed location in New Mexico, the Claw is rumored to claim the frozen wastelands of 1064 AD Siberia as his birthplace. And that's always the one that really stuck out to me. But all of the profiles for these dudes in here, especially the masked ones, for sure, those have some pretty ridiculous profiles written up there. So if you ever get your hands on the Prima strategy guide for this game, it's definitely worth picking up. So I like a lot of people, especially a lot of people that I know. I pretty much missed WCW being popular. I would have been 4 or 5 at the time where WCW really started tanking. So I really only know about WCW from watching wrestling recently, and I knew about it back in the day from playing these games, because oddly enough, even though every single person I knew watched WWF, everybody had this game. This particular game, World Tour, it sold millions of copies, and everybody I know had this game, which is crazy. And so I would still be playing this game, and I'd go and I'd look and I know who people were. So I know who Lex Luger is. You know, he's Lex Luger. He is who he is. He's boring. Sting, always great. The Giant, of course, you know, when you're a kid, you mark out like nobody's business for the Big Show. But he's all right. Scott Steiner, he's an asshole. Dean Malenko, not a lot of personality, but he's a great wrestler, great worker. Ultimo Dragon, I've never seen much of his stuff. Ric Flair, what else can you say? Rick Steiner, I'd never seen much of his stuff. I've only really seen Scott solo, and he's an asshole. Eddie Guerrero is probably who I'm going to go with for this first match that I'm going to try out. We don't talk about him. Rey Mysterio Jr., also great. Steven Regal, great worker. And then the nWo, the thing that always got me about this... oh, Mike's here. Ultimo is what Sin Cara tries and fails to be. Yeah, that sounds about right. This game always got me because it had 2 stings in it. I only found out recently what the 2 stings meant is the nWo's own personal sting. And I can't believe that they put the nWo sting in the game with his own moveset and everything, because obviously the real Sting and the person portraying the fake Sting had different movesets, and, you know, this guy was a lot more heelish. Sting than the quotation marks right there. And the nWo, at the point where they were really growing way too much, too fast, but they had the foresight to not overdo it. So they have Hulkster, they have fake Sting, Buff, who is in possession of the stuff, of which the girls apparently cannot get enough, Eric Bischoff, Six-Pac, X-Pac, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and then the only person who really sticks out a lot is Scott Norton here. Scott Norton's in there. Yeah, even Mike is like, who the fuck is Scott Norton?
Is it Randy Orton's dad?
Norton.
Norton, no, never mind.
And then we have DOA. I only know who a handful of these guys are. Actually, less than a handful. That's Abdul the Butcher. So props to that. He's awesome. Yeah, I know people. I don't know people like off the top of my head, but I know if you tell me who people are, I can't tell by these fucking portraits. And then there's all these guys here, and that guy looks really cool. The Claw, who's 1,000 years old, and this guy. But yeah, that's my quick rundown of the roster for this. I'm gonna go with Eddie. Eddie's great, and we'll put him up against Dean. That's a classic matchup. Yeah, that's all fine. Arena random. So the only thing that really changes, I know this about the arena, even in this one, they didn't have anything different about the setup, like the stage setup. They were still coming out on an aisle, there was no ramp. They don't have Nitro set up. It's WCW, it only changes the mat. So like if you had the top-down camera, you'd look directly at a WCW or an nWo logo, or DOA or IU logos. So, since this is 2 WCW guys going at it, let's do WCW. Handicap, and this is where we got a look at the spirit meter, which is why the AccuWrestling games are so great, because they use the spirit meter instead of health or some other bullshit like that. And then we really get into it, and you know, we've already seen some of the character models. They look decent. You know, this is the N64. It's not gonna blow us away with facial modeling or anything like that. But at this point, we're still only doing so much with the with like really capturing people's animations and their mannerisms outside of movesets. So that's something that really got improved a lot over the next couple incarnations. But the thing, because I'll tell you right now, they do look a lot better than the Warzone models, which Mike is pointing out to me like, oh, hell yeah. The Warzone models, which we will get to in about 8 months, for God's sake. Because Warzone didn't come out until summer of '98, somehow. I always think it's older than that. It's already aged by the time it comes out anyway, so. The Warzone models always look too smooth and too round, and especially the joints look really, really weird. So yeah, the Warzone models are not great. They haven't aged well, we'll put it that way. because I think people really went crazy over them when they came out. But anyway, back to this. I mean, these haven't aged well either, but they don't look upsetting the way that the moves go. Because, like, they still have a decent, like, sense of animation. It looks a lot better. It just isn't particular to people. You wouldn't know looking at this that that's Eddie unless you saw his face. Maybe you'd guess. But overall, the really impressive thing, because like I said, I haven't really played this in months, you know. Maybe, probably at least a year and a half. I haven't played any of these games because I haven't thought about it too much. But you can just pick it right up and start playing it, and that's what really makes the Aki games so great. And as I say that, I forget what the button input is to get back in the ring, because it's not the run button, which is C down, or is it? But whatever the fuck you doing, Dean, you better get back in the ring. What are you doing? Why is he? And okay, it's C up. Okay, cool. But that looks great. That move looks great when Eddie does it, even in this game. You know, that's the kind of stuff I really get into with wrestling and shit. Is, you know, Eddie pulls off, ooh, fucking Boston Crab. That's not his special, is it? No, he hasn't actually used it. No, he's just man of 1,000 holds. He can do a Boston Crab like you wouldn't fucking believe. But yeah, of course, naturally that happened. I said, oh, you can pick this game right up and just get right into it. And all of a sudden, I don't know how to get into the ring once I've been knocked out. Just Eddie Guerrero doing... I mean, they're technically... I guess they'd be leg drops, but they look like sentons because you do it from whatever angle. Like, Eddie Guerrero does not do sentons. But he does do shit like this. Boom! There's a flying headbutt. Not a whole lot of impact on it, but... Hell yeah. Hell yeah. He looks like he's doing a senton, which is so weird. See? Yeah, and there's a splash for you. The thing when you know people's movesets in like WWE that they had like 8 years later, you kind of question it, like, oh shit, if I get special, do I go up to the top rope, or does he do something else? Because I honestly don't remember. I'm gonna have to, like, you can check the Prima guide or whatever it is, and you can get an idea of what you're actually supposed to do. But I'm just like thinking of him like shit. Oh, and it's Eddie with the eye rake. Here we go. Nice. Yeah, that's a fucking heel move right there. How heel was he in WCW? Was he a huge heel, or was that more of a WWE thing? They turned him heel a lot. Because I knew he'd pretty much be a heel as soon as he came over with the Radicals. Ah! Oh, nice! That was awesome. Back in. Yes, Mike. This is the first N64 edition of the Aki engine. So, I mean, it didn't have it was 2 years away from being WrestleMania 2000 level, but yes, this is the same engine. That's why it's so fantastic. You can just pick it right up and play it. For anyone who doesn't know the Aki engine games, it's this wrestling engine that, like I said, is really easy to pick up and play. That's what makes it so absolutely legendary. Once you get to No Mercy, I mean, I know that Mike has told me that he prefers WrestleMania 2000, which is understandable. If you think that No Mercy has a lot of bugs and stuff, glitches, doesn't save properly. But the 4 Aki wrestling games on the 64, that was awesome. I didn't actually plan that frog splash into a pin, but the fact that he just did that makes me think that might not be his special. But anyway, it's WCW versus nWo World Tour, and then the year later is WCW nWo Revenge, then WrestleMania 2000 in 1999, and WWF No Mercy in 2000. And actually, if you want to go on the website, cultureshock.com, for the Culturecade, have published 2 articles that chronicle the WCW era and the WWF era of the engine in 2 separate articles that I published. One the week of Royal Rumble this year, and one the week of WrestleMania this year. And there will be a 3rd part, which is when basically WCW tanked. They didn't get to go back to Aki THQ for WCW Mayhem 2 on the PS2. That got canned because they tanked. And they did get picked up by EA to do Def Jam Vendetta and Def Jam Fight for New York. And then later went on to make Ultimate Muscle games, one of which came out on the PS2, GameCube for sure, maybe PS2. I haven't really seen it much because it's not that popular over here. But I will have a 3rd part of that article series on that. So now that when I was a kid, I never knew how to actually do people's special moves. So I think I would always think that I did something wrong. That's not it. But supposedly, once you build up the special, you're supposed to do it with holding A in the control stick. I need somebody to actually, like, not somebody to teach me to do it right, but I need to actually, like, get good practice in on doing that right, because I feel like it's pretty straightforward, but then I realized, well, if you press A in the situation that you need it to be in, aren't you just going to go do a light grapple or a strong grapple with A? And that's kind of what I was just doing right there. So that's the one thing I've even since I was a kid, I've never really figured out how to do properly. So not gonna get a 5-star match out of this with at least one competitor not actually able to do his special move. Unless you count the frog splash, because I did the frog splash. It was awesome. I feel like I could be going for a pin right now, but I also, like, whenever you see the spirit meter almost full, you kind of want to fill it up that last bit to see if you can actually get the special. Yeah. Oh yeah, running grapples aren't a thing until at least the year after. That's what I was just trying to do there. So yeah, you can only do running strikes like that elbow. No like running bulldog or swinging neck breaker or anything like that. Unless it's pre-mapped to a different move, like your grapples and shit. I probably would have been done for right there. Oh shit, small package. That he definitely counted that. That's basically what that is. There's somebody else here. Glad someone's playing a classic wrestling game. Like, hell yeah. I mean, I'm gonna do the Aki games. These are the ones I look forward to. I mean, it doesn't get better. It doesn't get better than these Aki games, honestly. I say that because I'm a N64 freak, but go for the pin. He doesn't have a rope break. You son of a bitch. Yeah. You can block that, motherfucker. After a little while, you start to run through everybody's moves that they have, because you need to start experimenting with positions and everything.
Do you ever just start to run through the jungle?
I do run through the jungle fairly often. Yeah, there's a counter. And on the other hand, you also start thinking about doing actual counters. I've done that body slam so many times.
1, 2, 3.
3, there we go. That was a slow match for Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko. That's what kind of a lot of them end up being like, I'm sure, in this game. But you know, it always gets better, especially as you start to know more moves by people and everything. That's the main thing. You gotta know how to diversify. You can't have WrestleMania 33 between Lesnar and Goldberg where everybody does 2 fucking moves. 2 moves each. As soon as I saw that match, I was like, somebody started playing an Aki wrestling game and they just had up A the whole time. It was like German suplex, German suplex. I'm gonna stop ranting about that. I don't like either of those people. Unpopular opinions.
Do you like either of those people?
I don't like either of those people. I especially hate Goldberg. Brock Lesnar used to be able to wrestle. Now they don't let him. But here's a preview quick of all the other stuff that you can do in this game. That was just a quick exhibition match. They have a Survivor Series style WCW versus nWo mode where you pick 5 guys. Oh, 5. Up to 5 guys. 5 guys. Up to 5 guys from each faction, and you do kind of like a elimination match with those two groups. And oh, I got a friend request. Yay. There's exhibition. There's league challenge, which is the main like championship mode. But the thing is, there's so many championships. WCW has heavy tag and cruiserweight. Then nWo has single and tag. DOA, heavy tag, cruiserweight. And Independent Using has single and tag. So you can run through all of these title challenges. I don't know how many matches they hold in there, but that's also where you get to boss fights. The boss fights include, I think it's 1 person from each of the factions. It's DDP in WCW, who I will try to unlock right away because I fucking love DDP. He's my man. Savage, and then at least 2 other guys. I'm not sure what the other 2 are, but they'll say in that book. And then League Challenge, which I actually don't know. It says, yeah, League over here, and a tournament. And Realism is just blood, I think, which should be on. And then, yeah, I don't know what changes with the difficulty if you like aren't able to unlock something. That's the way we want it right there. And there we go. That's it. I will start launching into this and stop by to stream some more stuff at various points over the next week or so, because Glacier and Wrath, thank you very much. It's Glacier and Wrath are the other 2 guys. So nobody special. DDP and Savage, big deal. Glacier and Wrath, not too much. But yeah. I'm gonna get started on league challenges and learn people's movesets and all that good stuff. And I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Peace out.